So the first of our 6 application models in this series of videos is on workforce scheduling. It is important to highlight the set of Chapter 15 models, the templates for which are contained within the Readings subfolder of the 05 underscore integer underscore opt folder. Although I'm not going to go through the 8 Chapter 15 exercises in either videos or classes, there are great examples you should do on your own as part of your chapter readings. So, Brower Services is faced with decisions on how many part-time employees to staff in each of the 9 hourly shifts. The staffing levels are based on the number of full-time employees and the anticipated minimum staffing requirements. The key to the setup is tracking the total number of part-time employees throughout the day, remembering that each part-time employee works 4 consecutive hour shifts. The objective is to minimize the total number of part-time employees needed across all daily shifts. The solution appears to overstaff the first shift, as you'll see when you look at that problem. So an alternative model puts cap on excess workers in an attempt to balance the number of part-time employees with the actual demand. There are also a number of alternative optimal solutions the management may consider when making new staffing decisions. Again, please check out pages 518 through 522 in Chapter 15 for details on this example. Our own example of a workforce scheduling model is similar to Brower Services, with an important difference presented by the need for continuous/revolving 7-day per week scheduling, as opposed to a single day sort of time window that Brower Services describes. Employees here, this is a post office example, work 5 consecutive days rather than 4-hour shifts, which is similar, but the employees in the early work days, for example, come from the Friday and the weekend, as well as those starting on Monday and Tuesday. So the 5-day sliding time window is implemented by referencing the appropriate number of employees starting a 5-day shift and then copying it over to the right in the upper triangle of the matrix from Monday all the way through Friday. Okay, so to show all this, we will switch to LECT4 workforce scheduling Excel file, which I have opened here. And I'm going to zoom in here. The top shows the data for each of the 7 days of the week and the minimum staffing required in terms of number of employees. So we'll start by assuming certain number of employees starting 5-day shift. So for simplicity, we'll just take, let's say 4 employees each day. Okay, so what we'll do with that is we'll go to the Monday and then show this 5-day sliding window by simply referencing the Monday, right? So those are the employees that are going to be available. Starting on Monday. I'm going to lock the, I think the column reference here, okay, and then copy that all the way through Friday. So those are the same 4 employees that started on Monday are still available on Friday. Okay, so then starting with Thursday, however, the workers that start on that day will work through the following Monday. Okay, so if you scroll down a little bit, the workers that start a 5-day shift on the Thursday will work through the following Monday. So you have to do the wraparound, right, to beginning of the Thursday row and reference those 4 workers that started on Thursday right here. Okay, so these 4 workers that started on Thursday will also be working the following Monday. Okay, as well as on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, so that's the idea of the wraparound, right? So next, what we're going to do is the workers starting on Tuesday obviously work on Tuesday, all right, with a $sign next to the column reference, all the way to Saturday, and the workers that start on Wednesday work from Wednesday all the way to Sunday. Okay, and then just like for the Thursday startup, the workers starting on Friday are also available the following Monday and Tuesday. So these for workers here are available that started on Friday are available next Monday as well as Tuesday, are simply there, right? And in addition to that, obviously they are the ones that have started on Friday or the previous week, obviously, and this is the continuous nature of this example, which makes it slightly more complicated than the Browser services in the textbook. And the same holds for workers starting on Saturday or Sunday. So the ones starting on Saturday are going to be available on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So you can see how the matrix sort of works. Okay, as well as obviously on the previous Saturday when they actually started, and the Sunday, and then finally the keep saving as you work along. The workers that started on Sunday will be available on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday through Thursday. All right, so these are the same guys here. I'm going through Thursday, and then obviously they're available on Sunday because that's when they started. Okay, I'm just going to quickly clean up the no border, put border back, save, and then continue. So we're going to scroll down a little bit to the employees available row, right, where we're going to simply add up the number of employees available on each of the 7 days, right, or working on each of the 7 days, which is what the columns in this model represent. Okay, and that number must meet or exceed the number of employees required up in the data section. So if I move all this, right, I get all the 20s, right, which is clearly going to meet all of this, right, and then some. So it's obviously a suboptimal solution. Okay, so the total number of employees, of course, is then simply the sum of the ones that have started the various shifts, right? So it's the sum of this, which of course is going to be 7 times 4, 20, 28, right? So so it should be clear that the number of employees starting each shift right here, right, must be integers, right? Just like number of part-time employees starting each hour in Browser services or Brewer services, however you pronounce it, must be also integer decision variables. Continuous variables in neither of these two scheduling examples make sense. Okay, so this is just adding up the number of employees starting each shift. So I'm going to save that, go under the add-ins tab, and in this case, what we want to do is simply click on the objective, add it. We want to have as fewer workers as possible to minimize the overall cost, obviously, by changing how many start each shift. Okay, and these same variables must be integer. Okay, these same variables must be integer. So you select the list and then flip to int. Okay, and finally, we need to have that number of employees available meets or exceeds number of employees required over here. Okay, make sure that the unconstrained variables are non-negative. Choose the LP quadratic method and then solve the problem. Okay, you will see that the minimum number of employees necessary is 23. All right, and then just like in the Browser services, it sort of tends to overstaff initially, right? And then there's also a peak number here of 8 employees starting Thursday shifts because of that high demand of 19 here, but then on Fridays and Sundays nobody's starting, right? So there, just like the Browser services, there should be an alternative model that sort of tries to balance these out. So please again check out Browser services pages 518, 522 in chapter 15 for some of those alternatives. Okay, so I'm going to save this and switch back to the presentation. Make sure that this is a good place to stop.